And we're back here on the Twin Cities Film Fest red carpet. Another wonderful film up next. I've had the pleasure to see this one, Last Straw. And we have with me Danny Palmer right next to me, who is the lead actress in this film. And we have Samantha Schumacher, and she was the writer and producer on this film. And so both these ladies, a large part to do with it, but let's break into it. Of course, let's give a little bit more on the film so that everyone kind of knows what we're tracking. Do you want to take this one, Samantha?
Sure. So the film is really based on some experiences that I've had. So it's not true to life, but it is true to the experience of living this. So it's about a mom who is working to push forward some public policy, and she has a very technical background. And so it's how do I work within the bounds of being a mom and being there for my family and also trying to do good for the planet and for my community.
Well, thank you. Then at least we know where we're going, which, like I said, I've seen this film, and it was so great. And Danny, you had a large part in this film. And so what was that like playing this character, which I hear has a lot to do with some of those things that you have in real life?
Well, I mean, it's a story of a working mom, right? Trying to not only be a good mom, but realizing like I still need to make an influence outside of my home, and I think a lot of women feel and experience that. So when I read the script, I just related to it 100% and got really excited. And of course, I don't have a PhD in economics, but Samantha helped me fake it really well with her brilliant script, and she was there to kind of like guide me through some of the jargon and how, and it was really it was just fun because it did hit so close to home. But it's an interesting film. I mean, if you're interested in the environment, if you're interested in themes of women in the workplace and motherhood, all of that gets touched on in this 7-minute film.
Yeah. So just a follow-up question on that as well is it wasn't just yourself being in your family in this film. Your kids actually got to be in this film.
Just one.
So a very fun. Okay, well, both of your kids. Yeah. What was that like being able to kind of have your kids play a role in this film that both of you ladies came up with?
Do you want to start?
It was really fun. I think that it was, of course, having Danny's daughter makes the family obviously look like a family, which is wonderful, and she did such a wonderful job. And I think one of the most challenging scenes for us is we had a rather complicated scene where we had my 6-month-old, your daughter, you, a Skype call. It was a very complicated scene, and I was so impressed, with my daughter, because she was 6 months old and did great. So I think that's always just going to be really fun to get to have her in that experience and be part of the process of making a film.
How about for you, Danny?
Same thing. It was really fun just to get the opportunity to act. My daughter and I have done a couple of things together before, but this was the first time we got to really just sort of almost be true to life, And it was ambitious and it was chaotic, but it worked, and I think it really just adds to the authenticity of what you watch on the screen.
So coming up with this film, Samantha, what was that like knowing that you were going to be working, of course, with your husband and having that experience as well?
Yeah, so I am not a filmmaker in practice. I have a corporate job where I'm a mathematician and do that as a living. I have some background in the arts, and so I remember writing it and sort of speaking with my husband and saying, well, if you think it's good enough, let's go do it. And he was like, oh no, we're definitely doing this. For me, it was just a fun, exciting experience to watch something that I wrote get turned into reality. And Jason Schumacher, my husband, is a fabulous filmmaker. So just being able to hand the reins and trust that he's going to make good decisions. And he found Danny, and Danny is like the most beautiful version of somebody that could have been me that I could ever want. So I'm so grateful for the work that she did on the film.
Yeah, both of you ladies. I mean, coming into this film, watching it myself for the first time, it was breathtaking. Just also to think about that story being told, but just visually too. Was it tough coming up with the locations that you guys had to have?
Most of the locations was in my house, so that piece. But yes, the courtroom scene was found by one of our actors, by Bruce, and that was really wonderful. That community was so welcoming to us and was so happy to have us in their space. So I think that really also lent an opportunity to experience what that was really going to look like and feel like.
So when we're thinking about, too, like you said, that Skype call and getting through that, how did you guys stay calm, cool, collected to finish that and see that one out? Did it take multiple, I'm sure, times?
Oh,
but
yeah. Eden said a couple of times, she's like, how many takes is this, 100? And I was like, no, honey, it's like 7. But it feels, when you're 6 years old, it feels like 100. And I think it helped, that both their parents were there. And, it's not my first rodeo. I got 4 kids at home. So I think you set the tone for the kids, and all of the people on the crew and Jason were just really brilliant about being patient, giving time between shots to let them reset, and keeping the action believable and chaotic, but also simple. And so it flowed. It worked really well.
So Samantha, the last question I have for you would just be about, like I said, of course, your husband being an amazing filmmaker and well known here in the city, is especially for him. What does that look like for you? Are you going to maybe be coming up with more stories? Should we be on the lookout for you? Because this was a great one, and you guys were a great team.
Thank you. That's really kind. I think for me, it was a story that I was struggling with personally, that I'm feeling a lot of frustration or anxiety, as you point out, that it's something that I think a lot of women especially who have families, who are trying to make this progress. So for me, it was frustration born into art. So is there going to be another one? I don't know. I guess I have to get really frustrated again and find something else to talk about.
Jumping into new territory.
I have baby number 2 coming, so maybe that will give me the material I need.
Well, both you ladies, such a phenomenal job with this film. And of course, like you said, your husband who isn't here with us today, you all were a great team. But thanks so much for joining me on the red carpet, you guys.
It's a lot of fun.
Thank you so much.
Well, you guys, stay tuned. Some more amazing filmmakers coming at you here in just a moment.